is Luigi Mangione? I'm Mike Helgren at the elite Gilman School in North Baltimore, where the 26-year-old was the valedictorian of the class of 2016. He's now fighting allegations that he killed United Healthcare's CEO Brian Thompson in a targeted attack in Midtown Manhattan. Mangione is from a prominent Baltimore family, and he seemed to have it all: looks, money, and Ivy League education. He also seemed to disappear roughly 6 months before the killing. A banner over the JFX in North Baltimore reads "Deny, Defend, Depose," an indictment of the American healthcare industry, and the same words police say were written on the bullets Luigi Mangione used to kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But what may have caused the wealthy heir to a high-profile Baltimore family to snap? A handwritten note found on Mangione railed against the healthcare industry, stating, "Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming."
And insult to the intelligence of the American people.
R.J. Martin lived with Mangione in Hawaii and says his former roommate recently underwent surgery for crippling back pain. Mangione posted an X-ray showing screws in his back.
A spinal misalignment that had been ongoing for quite some time, and that something had to do with his care back home. So he always was weighing on him returning home so that he could see his doctor.
Mangione's family owned Lorien Health Services, a chain of nursing homes across suburban Baltimore, along with WCBM Radio, a conservative news talk station where his arrest was the hourly top story.
A step that could help expedite Luigi Mangione's extradition to New York from Pennsylvania.
They also developed Turf Valley, a country club in Howard County, and Hayfields Country Club in Hunt Valley. ProPublica estimates their charity arm, the Mangione Family Foundation, is worth more than $4 million. The Aquatic Center at Loyola University is named after them.
I just feel heartbroken, somebody that I loved and cared about, that could have done something so hideous, but also that, his life effectively is probably forever over and altered, and just hurts.
Mangione was the class of 2016 valedictorian at the elite Gilman School in North Baltimore, which cost close to $40,000 a year.
Sending us to Gilman was far from a small financial investment.
He later attended the Ivy League University of Pennsylvania. The wealth, in part, comes from his grandfather, Nicholas, a self-made multimillionaire.
Nino Mangione here, and I'm at the beautiful Hayfields Country Club.
His cousin Nino is a Republican state delegate representing Baltimore County. In the months before the killing in Manhattan, Mangione's loved ones became worried, some posting to Twitter, "Nobody has heard from you in months," and "I don't know if you are okay or just in a super isolated place." But what led to what police call a targeted attack on Thompson and the suspect's eventual capture at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, remains a mystery to friends.
Knowing how absolutely out of character it is, utter disbelief. There's just no words.
Authorities say Mangione had a notebook where he planned the killing and a note where he railed against the healthcare industry. They say they were able to match ballistics to the ghost gun allegedly used in the killing, as well as fingerprints from the crime scene.
Based on the totality of the evidence, it's coming together forensically, it's coming together physically with the video canvas, it's coming together with witnesses. So this is your old school police case where the detectives were out there pounding the beat every day, knocking on doors. The community responded, allowing us access to their private video systems. Commercial locations were allowing us access to their video systems, and we have a compilation that puts him at all the scenes that were involved in this crime.
Mangione's attorney is fighting back, saying his client is innocent.
Yeah, the burden of proof is always on the government, okay? So, again, people forget that he and any other person charged with a crime is presumed innocent. That means we start off square one with a presumption of innocence of him being innocent. And the rest then follows, and then we challenge the evidence and contest it and battle it out in court where it belongs.
Mangione's family says they are shocked and devastated and only know about the crime what they've read in the media. Coming up, Maryland Governor Wes Moore weighs in on the tragedy and the failings of the American healthcare system. Welcome back. Governor Wes Moore is one of those expressing frustration with America's healthcare system. He talked about his own personal experiences and he says this attack should be condemned.
Some of the earliest memories I have in my life was watching the healthcare system fail. I was 3 years old when my dad died in front of me because he didn't get the healthcare he needed. And so the brokenness of the healthcare system is something that I have lived with and something that still very much sits with me to this day. And working to fix it is something that I still make a core part of my why and my ethos. I also know that the way we solve things is not killing people in cold blood. The way we solve things is not killing people because we do not like the industry they are in or the company that they represent. And I'm glad that the wheels of justice are now moving. We need to have justice for what happened to Brian Thompson. And I would just ask people to remember that because of the actions of this person, there are 2 teenagers right now in Minnesota who are growing up like I did, fatherless. And we can never forget that.
Other lawmakers have also weighed in, including New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who wants Mangione extradited back to her state to face justice.
I don't care your views about healthcare companies, because I don't think they're great right now either. Insurance companies need to be held to account for all the people that are suffering because they've denied their claims. That is a fact, and that's something we can focus on. But you do not celebrate the assassination of another human being who is just doing his job.
Ahead, the Mangione family's legacy in Baltimore. Luigi Mangione's family has a long history in Baltimore with many businesses, including country clubs, a nursing home chain, and a radio station where lawyer Thomas Moronic hosted a show.
It's complete shock. This is the last person you would think to do something like this coming from the family that he's from. This is a very esteemed family. They're tremendously supportive of charities. They own golf courses, they own real estate, and of course WCBN, which is how I knew them. But how do I process this sense? It seems like the case is certainly building even day by day. I think they're really trying to internally process this. This is obviously very difficult with a member of their family having been named in this case, and particularly with some of these developments.
The family donated to many charitable causes across the Baltimore region. Luigi Mangione attended the University of Pennsylvania, where a former classmate says he's shocked that he's accused of this kind of violence.
It was freshman year of college. We were all starry-eyed 18-year-olds, and Luigi was no exception. He was brilliant. I always enjoyed every conversation that I had with him, and though we didn't get into politics much, he was always very thoughtful, and I feel like I left every conversation with him with some more thought.
We've also heard from Mangione's former yoga instructor in Hawaii, who describes Mangione's debilitating back pain.
He mentioned to me when I was helping him with the pose, he said, "Oh, I have a back injury." And I'm like, "Well, I always ask, like, where is it? Where's your back injury?" And he said, "Lower back." So I just said, all right, we can modify it, you know? We can focus more on your cervical and your dorsal of your spine, so you're not jamming into the lower back. And I also, you know, as a studio, we're there to help people alleviate pain.
Ahead, how police captured Luigi Mangione. Welcome back. Mangione was captured after being spotted at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. When authorities first approached him, he was eating a hash brown. They say he gave fake identification.
What did they ask him?
They asked him if he had been to New York recently.
And he responded nervously.
He was very nervous.
A regular customer at that McDonald's weighs in.
The one worker that actually thought it was him, she said it between his eyes and his eyebrows. She says, when I took his order, it was like she got in her mind, oh my God, it's a guy from New York.
The next day, Mangione had an outburst while entering court.
And completely out of touch. And it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Luigi, did you do it?
And it's completely out of touch. And it's an insult the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
Ahead, the fear of copycat crimes as some cash in. Luigi Mangione's case has struck a nerve. Some on social media are hailing him a hero while expressing frustration with America's healthcare system. We spoke to an expert on violent extremism at the University of Maryland.
People can be upset about insurance and have valid grievance and do lots of things that aren't violent radicalization, pathways off that ramp. In cases like this, though, specifically, it appears that that pathway went all the way to forming a radical identity where he felt he had to act on behalf of others. He had to take on this identity as a warrior or something like that to conduct this violence that most people would be abhorred by. And even if you look at it as, I'm doing this on behalf of, this has to be done. You see this in these kind of things, leading to these violent actions.
Some are cashing in, selling everything from t-shirts to candles to mugs. We spoke to one retailer who says Etsy pulled his t-shirt from its platform.
People tend to look at the whole story, not necessarily Luigi, as sort of a Robin Hood tale, you know, a modern day folk story, you know, of corporations that are taking advantage of the regular working class people, you know, and somebody taking it into their own hands and trying to make a difference about it.
He says he's appealing Etsy's decision and now selling that t-shirt on his personal website. Other retailers, including Amazon, have also pulled Mangione merchandise. We'll be right back.
The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition. Throughout its time here at Gilman, the class of 2016 has been coming up with new ideas and challenging the world around it.
From his Baltimore upbringing to his possible motivation, we've learned a lot about Luigi Mangione in the past few days, but there are still a number of unanswered questions, including exactly how he was able to target this CEO and what he was doing in those months when he disappeared. Coming up on Monday at 5 on WJZ, we'll explore some of the anger toward America's healthcare systems and some of the fears of more violence. For now, I'm Mike Helgren in North Baltimore for CBS News Baltimore, and this has been Who is Luigi Mangione?